Hi there. Welcome and welcome back to the Whole Bucket and Zebra Talks. Today I am actually going to do two of my prompts because I think that they kind of fit together, and if I do both of them today, then we start the new year with part two. And that just kind of makes sense, and I like when things make sense. So, um, I don't know if you can tell that things are a little different in the view, but I have changed some things around in my cameras and such, and we are now facing a little bit of a different direction. Um, you are probably used to my cats wandering through the view, um, but you might have a little extra cat wandering through the view today because she has gotten used to laying right here because I've been doing tons of work on only half of my desk because she's claimed this half. She's a little distressed that I have displaced her. And yeah, she's pacing. She's just pacing back and forth. And now she's going to lay on our work. You can't stay there, Suni. I'm sorry, but I'm... And she's flipped completely upside down. Suni, you can't stay here, honey. You're going to have to move. I'm sorry to tell you. You're going to have to move. Skedaddle, lady cat. How about right there? You could stay right there. All right, so today, for our very first prompt, we're going to do a supporter shout out. So we talked a little bit about how people can accommodate us and what can medical professionals do better, or do to be more supportive, or whatever, right? And some people already do those things. They accommodate us. Some medical professionals are already doing the good things, right? They're stepping up, or they're being innovative, or they're good listeners, or lots of things. They can be doing all kinds of things that really make them valuable. So I'm going to glue down supporter shout out. It says family, friends, providers, almost anyone in our lives can give us meaningful support. Think about and list some of those folks. As always, I'm going to do a Zentangle while I talk about this, and then hopefully some things will come to mind. Suni, no. Honey, I'm going to kick you out of the room if you can't settle down. Good girl. Good girl. You can stay there. Okay. Today's flower in the Zentangle department is going to start with a curlicue. A two-sided curly thing. And then a stem. This marker is starting to dry out. I think I will pick a different one. Let's try a 4. Okay, so we did a curlicue on both ends, right? And then a stem. And then I'm going to do a joiner bit. And a joiner bit. And now the flower. I suppose, guys, I should switch, shouldn't I? I should switch views. There we go. That's better. That's much better. Okay, so then just make a little pod. And then make another pod. And make another pod. And then make pods up from those pods. And then make a pod up. Whoops, that's a big fat pod. It's okay, it doesn't matter. And then we're going to aura that whole thing. Just like that. And then I'm going to start at the top of each little pod and just make a little, I don't know, flick sort of thing. Like that. That's it. That's the whole flower. So I will do a few more of those so that I'm demonstrating how that goes, but there's nothing more to it. That's all it is. And let's talk about support people. And shout out and thanks to all those people who are already doing the thing. The thing is happening. So I think that, okay, a really big support in my life is not a people, it's these crazy cats that, even this one that is really upset with me right now because I've usurped her spot on my desk. I mean, how dare I use my own desk? Seriously, I'm so rude. But the cats are amazing, and frustrating and a lot of work, but still, just, they're fabulous. So I'm going to start in my very own house and branch out. My husband, try as he might to be supportive, is not very skilled at it. And I want to give him a thank you and a shout out and all that stuff because he knows he's not very good at it and he doesn't give up. He tries. He tries to learn. He tries to understand. He tries to be supportive. He has his own, challenges, as do we all, right? And some of his challenges make it a little hard for him to understand other people outside of his own brain. And that's okay. It's a thing. The second person in my house is the last other person in my house. And that's my son, Justin. Oh, I wasn't going to say names. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, I have a son named Justin. I'm not going to start over. But I'm typically not going to say actual names because I'm doing this in such a public way and I don't want to make those choices for other people. I guess he doesn't care. I hope he doesn't care. Anyway, my son that lives in this house with us is also a bit of a zebra and has his own stuff, as do we all. And he has crazy amounts of supportive. And he's actually here with me more than my husband is. And because of that, is more aware of what's going on with me and is around more when I have crises going on. Because sometimes my particular zebrahood becomes life-threatening and needs to be paid attention to a lot. And So my oldest child is invaluable in that he is here with me as much as he is. Sort of in my home, so this is a weird place to go next, but sort of in my home is the growing art community and zebra community on this channel. So I am up to 163 subscribers. Most of them are involved in the art world, right? But there are some zebra followers, and I have gotten some really good feedback from people about following along with this and how they're using it. And it's being used in ways I didn't expect, like caregivers and for chronic things that aren't necessarily what you might think of. I don't want to share too much information because it's private, but it's being used in unexpected ways and by unexpected people, and they're finding it useful. So, oh my goodness, that's amazing. The feedback that I get is a huge support, whether it be, commiseration or appreciation or just letting me know, hey, I'm doing this thing. Or even just views. You don't have to comment or thumbs up or any of that stuff, right? Maybe you're just following along and doing it very privately yourself. I appreciate all of that, and all of that is support. So I'm going to keep doing this. And I did mention once before that I think, for me anyway, this journal so far is screaming that it needs to be done more than once. Like, I feel like I'm only hitting the first level of stuff, and then my brain is like, stop right there, acknowledge that level, and then you need to move on to a deeper level, going through this stuff again. So I don't know that that's true, because obviously we're only halfway through, but I think that's kind of true. I think it's going to be, this might be a thing that needs to be repeated. I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm just gonna write two in my home. If you're doing this, don't be as silly as me, right? I am just doing this because of how public the YouTube video makes this. But you guys should write actual people, actual names. Well, these are actual people. You should write actual names and maybe even what it is they do for you. Two in my home. I added this one because this is kind of in my home. You people watching videos and joining my channel and hanging out, whether it's the zebra-ness or the art stuff, right? You're in my home, not a physical people in my presence. So I'm counting you as in my home. So I'm just gonna write the art and zebra folks. I was gonna write community, but it won't fit on the same line, and I want to squish it all in one line. So you are part of the art and zebra folks. So now move outside my home, and I will continue with family. I'm gonna write how do I don't know how to describe. There's three particular ladies I'm just going to call you the Three Amigos. Because I don't know what else to say. Because again, I'm not using real names. The Three Amigos come to my house and share information and are accepting when I disappear for a while and have taught me a bunch about zebrahood, and in some ways I'm ahead of them in the game, and in some ways they're ahead of me in the game, and I think that we share important information. I have an extended friend group that actually comes from gaming. So I'm gonna write Pennsylvania, Virginia, Florida, California, Colorado, oh, New Mexico, don't forget her, Utah, trying to think of more states. Anyways, you guys are all extended support. And I know that I don't get to talk to some of you very often at all, but it makes a difference. And it's nice just knowing that you're out there somewhere and touching base whenever we can. So I'm just going to write, wowzers. And if you are a member of that list, you will know exactly who you are. There's one in Florida who is a wowzer by connection. And lady, I'm counting you as a wowzer. So I used to do a lot of online gaming. And I don't do that anymore. And I found that I really can't do that anymore. And it's a little sad, to be honest. But, I mean, you can't go backward. You can't recreate a situation, you know? So I just appreciate it for what it was. And I have friends that I've made and will probably stay friends forever. Oh, Idaho. There we go. As well as other countries, by the way. Although I talk to them less often because we're usually on very different time zones. So that's reaching outside the house. Also outside the house and in and out of the house really is an extended friend group that is really my son's friend group. And they're also my friends now. And I don't know if you understand how weird that is. They don't seem to think it's weird, but I do. But I appreciate them, and my son has some of the best people in his life. Some of the best people I've ever had the pleasure to meet. And I'm lucky to count them as friends. And they are delightful. And I love when they're around. And there you go. So, I'm going to call it the Discorders. Yeah, that's it. I'll just call it that. Who else is supportive? I have a new-ish Yeah, she's new. A new nurse practitioner who is lovely, and I'm so happy to have met her, and can't wait to get back to seeing her. Last time I went to see her, the whole building had lost electricity and they had to cancel people and whatever. But okay, I have one doctor in particular who is doing fabulous stuff so far. I have a physical therapist who I count myself hugely lucky to have found. She is intelligent, intuitive, and educated in my particular health issues. So I was like, what? Are you kidding? But no, ongoing education and yeah, ongoing education in my specific kinds of stuff. So to find a physical therapist who understands exactly what the heck I'm talking about when I say stuff was stupid amounts of lucky. Oh, and I have a psychologist. Um, I wonder what are the letters for a psychologist? You know what? I'll just call her Psycho because she would find that hilarious. um, those are the three professional healthcare or four healthcare professionals that I should speak out about the most right now. Hopefully they don't change for quite some time because I hate changing healthcare professionals because it's just a toss-up, isn't it? To see if you're going to get one that can listen and actually understand, just not claim that they listen and understand and then don't. Don't you hate that? It's ridiculous. Let's see if there's anybody else that I need to think of while I do another flower. And then we'll move on to the other page because we don't want this to be too terribly long. We don't want to get too ridiculous. So I did family, friends, professionals. I could do, I mean, like everyday people out in the world, right? But I don't go out in the world. But if you do, maybe you have a butcher that gets you your favorite thingy. Um, or I mean, I have a very nice mailman, but I don't say hi to him very often, and I think he changed. Um, remember your neighbors and remember service people out in the world and remember your grocer or your butcher or your mailman or your whatever. If there's anybody that does things that are supportive, make sure that you write those down too. Like maybe you're somebody who can't walk very well and you have a delivery person who knows that and comes to your door for you. Or um I mean, I can't even think of all the things. But don't forget those little things. And don't forget the not people. So, four, oh, I got switch pens. Four furry ones. Let's turn the page. These flowers are so cool. I love those. All right, turn the page. What do we got for the next one? Celebrate a win. What have you accomplished or learned or started or finished? Be happy about it. This can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be to do with zebrahood or anything, because just having a chronic condition of any sort, or being a caregiver, if you're the person who's using this as a caregiver thing, right? Or the other person who's doing this as a completely different sort of thing, and whatever your thing is that requires your attention on a regular basis affects our feelings of success, lack of feelings of success, or actual feelings of success, or whatever. So the win you celebrate doesn't have to be in the realm of health. It can be, but it sure doesn't have to be. And mine's not going to be. So I'm going to talk about a few different things that I wish, or that I'm thinking of. There we go. That I'm thinking of putting on here. And we'll see what I end up with while I draw this. Oops. My book is a little bumpy. So my book is a little bumpy, so my lines are not great. This tingle, however, just starts with this wisp right here, and then off of this wisp, I'm gonna, other people do this tingle much, much, much better than I do. So this is practice for me, and practicing a tingle on a bumpy book is not ideal. It's not ideal. So don't judge this one, people. Okay, so something I have finished or started or whatever. For right now, the biggest thing that I started and finished was Defemmerimber. Now, if you're a zebra follower and not an art follower, you might be going, what the heck is a Defemmerimber? That's not a word. You're right. It's not. It's made up. It is your daily dose of ephemera inspiration in December. Shortened to Defemmerimber. So, I did Defemmerimber this year. I did it last year too, but if I remember right, I only did part of it. I'm not really sure that that's true. And the year before, I think I just did one thing maybe. Again, I don't really remember. Sometimes I don't even know why I talk, since I'm never really sure about anything I'm saying. But you know, there's that. Defemmerimber was a big deal. It's also got me a lot of new subscribers on the YouTube channel, which is so exciting. So exciting. And I ended up with a journal that's done and a lot of artwork. And the thing I like about Defemmerimber best is that by the end of the year, I really feel like creativity is sort of stagnant, right? Like I go through ups and downs all the time, but by the end of the year, it's just like, ugh, I'm just stuck in ruts. And Remember, because it gives you a prompt list and you interpret and follow prompts on the list, it really inspires new creativity and rethinking things. So I like that that got done, and that words. Oh, I feel refueled for the new year of art. What else? I don't know of another win. I can't really think of anything right now. I like the 163 subscribers, and I like Defemember, so maybe I'll just leave it at that, because I wasn't entirely sure I would make it through Defemember. There were a couple of times where I thought I was going to crash. One in particular, I didn't crash, and one I really just did. I couldn't think. I did get little like sparks of energy and sparks of thought, but I couldn't hold it together. It got pretty bad. So finishing Defemember really was a big deal. I think I'm just going to stick with that. Let's just stick with that. I'm going to write it really big on here. Defemember. I'll turn it this way. There's a lady named Darcy. She also did Defemember, and I found her channel through the hashtag for Defemember. And she has a YouTube channel called Darcy's Misadventures with Mixed Media. And I just watched a video a little while ago of hers, and it said, do not do your first instinct. My first instinct right now is to stay on the lines and put words on the lines, because that's what the lines are for. So in honor of Darcy and meeting her through Defemember, and in honor of my successful traipsing through Defemember and finishing all the prompts on the list, I will do it sideways. Do it sideways. Okay, let's see what we got. We've got a sideways Defemember. That's what we got. I'm celebrating that win. I think it's a pretty big one. If I can pull it off, January might also be a big win, because I am going to do another video series of my own this time. I was going to do Junk Journal January, and I might follow some of the prompts, some of the days in what I'm actually doing, but I want to spend January really sort of building up a supply of parts of journals, because there are so many journals I want to make. Anyways, making journals excites me. There are so many I want to make that I want to be a little bit ahead of the game in some respects, and I'm going to spend January prepping all sorts of stuff to do that. So I hope that that's a win too. Next time we come together for Zebra Talks, we're going to start set number 2. And the very first thing we're going to do is talk about spoon theory. If you already know what spoon theory is, please come and take a look, leave comments and all that kind of jazz about whether you think I got it right or whether there's a better explanation. I will try to get it right. But we're going to talk about spoon theory. Spoon theory is very important. If you don't know what it is, come back for that. If you watched this one, please leave a comment or subscribe or thumbs up. Let me know what your successes are. Let me know who you appreciate the most. Let me know what your win is, because, I mean, let's all celebrate our wins together, right? Okay, see you next time. Thanks for tuning in. Bye!